Amateur hour over here. Fucking amateur hour. Sorry about that. Yeah, total amateur hour. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, guys. How's it going? 1 second. I'm just getting the title screen up. I'm sorry, guys. I was working on a bunch of other shit trying to get the show properly set up. Okay.
Of social commentary and not in please note these are a form of social commentary and not in any way meant to put down the ideas and ideals of any political or gender identity. You are all fair game in the eyes of the wicked, and we see you. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh shit! A pickle red, motherfucker!
You are now watching Useless Episode STS.
Because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted his written imprint of boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time.
Dog will hunt.
Fuck, suck, and eat butt.
Stupid.
Yeah, what? Very stupid.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
And all right, how's it going, chickadees? My beautiful starflies. Welcome to another episode of SCS. This is your safe space from the idiot magatards as well as the oversensitive social justice warriors. This is a place where it's okay to say I don't give a fuck. All right. Okay. So today's title, Woke is the New Black. Now, unfortunately, I am late to that because Roland Martin actually beat me to that title, and I didn't realize it till I'd already set it up. So I was kind of, doing a joke on orange is the new black, and then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, this title, it looks familiar. Where have I seen it before? And then I checked an old Roland Martin episode from like a week ago. And yeah, that was the title of the show. So sorry, Roland. Impersonation's the greatest form of flattery, right? It's an homage. All right. So the reason why I wanted to get into this is because of the flack that we got when we did the Make America Gay Again episode, which was talking about the treatment of homosexuals in the modern day era. And, there was a lot of stuff I never even got to get to. For instance, before the Great Depression, Germany actually had a gay and lesbian alliance. They were actually the first to do an actual protest, but the problems with not only the Great Depression, being affecting the world economy. But it also got pushed back because this was right, we had to deal with World War One, and in the aftermath of World War One, they wanted to try to come out now, and then a few years down the line, they had brought up Hitler, and so when Germany came to a Hitlerian point, by that extent, the gays and lesbians were now back to hiding because if you were gay or lesbian, you were actually looked at lower than a Jew. And so Hitler would have these people round up just as Jews, and even if you had any inkling of femininity, like let's say you're a musician and an artist, and you're really popular in the gay community, well, then they're gonna go after you. But guess who else was a really fucking lame artist? Hitler. So everything that came out of Hitler was projection. It was just obvious projection. He hated himself. He hated what he looked like. He tried to make it a law to look nothing like him. He wanted tall, strong, white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryans. Bro, you're 5'7". You're not that white. You're French, and you're fucking black-haired, brown eyes, and black fucking mustache. I thought gods create shit in their own image. I don't know. Because we are gods now, and we do the same thing with our computer programs. We make them in our own image. Look at the modern AI that we have. Look at Sophia is one of the best AIs that we have. And she is, she looks like a woman. And so it's because we create things in our own image. So that is why I believe in the first place that the Bible didn't make too much sense, because, making things in your own image is a human aspect, not an omnipotent God aspect. I don't know. So let's get into a person you guys know I fucking loathe. Greg Gutless. He works for the Fox News team. He is just a horrid person. There he is right there, just putting his hands up saying, yeah, I know I'm a piece of shit. Now, this douchebag actually has the balls to try to compare mobs and unruly mobs that, we shouldn't hurt the mobs. We should hurt the individuals. First of all, we have what's called the RICO Act, you stupid motherfucker. And if we didn't have the RICO Act, honestly, my people, the Italians, we'd still be in charge. We'd still be fucking, selling bootlegging cigarettes, But the point is, the RICO Act was put into place to stop organized crime. It was there to stop the head guy from having what's called, displacement from it's basically just categorizing people so that way people have a limited amount of information. It's the same thing the government does. So you have what's called plausible deniability. And so by destroying that, by adding RICO, you're destroying that plausible deniability. So in his backward ass way, where he could have made sense of this, he's now going to use the black kids in Chicago that I think they were doing it was like a scavenger hunt that went wrong. They were looking for some PlayStation, I think. I don't know. I got the text for it, on my Citizen app, but and I saw it on TikTok, but I have no interest in going out. I'm a boring guy. I like to loot too, but I'm in my 30s now. I'm just too lazy. So I want you to listen to Greg Gutfield because he's really walking on eggshells here, even for Greg Gutless. He knows damn well that this can go really bad, but hey, I'm on Fox. We're meant to say stupid shit and not get in trouble for it. That's kind of our business model. So let's go ahead and show you that. And just can you tell me if this makes any sense to you? Because I'm gonna. This is from Sam Cedar. Now he's also gonna question it, and it's just. Let me see if it makes sense to you guys.
Generally, when you see a group, you see, oh my God, it's a group of black kids. That's what you see. And then the next, what would that sound like to you when somebody says, oh, look at all these black kids? Generally, it's a liberal. Because the second step is they make excuses for the group. Oh, it's from somewhere else. Oh, it's because of parenting. Given the circumstances, this is the behavior one would expect from a group of black teens.
Pause it, wait.
All right, so we just heard a little brief little snippet of it. And did any of that make sense to you? He's saying that when you have a group of black people, I don't know why he has to say when you have a group of people, it has to be a black group. What the fuck are you talking about? I hang out in Evanston a lot because that's where my, it's where my peeps are. So, I'm a north sider. I see tons of white people all the time, and it scares me. I cross the motherfucking street. If I see a group of fucking black people at the corner, either I'm going to ask him for some weed or I'm going to say what's up and just keep walking. Depends if I need weed or not. But all you got to do is just go like that. And the dude knows what you're talking about. So, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. And then when I showed it to my own mother, she's also very, very dark. And I thought she was black as a kid. This might be why I have the opinion and the mindset I do. Is growing up as a kid, I had I have a very dark-skinned mother who is like purple. She's that type of, like Hispanics get, Native Americans get, people from Arizona, especially. My mother's from Arizona. We're going to get to that later. So because of the skin color, which is a very purplish color, I'm sure you guys have seen this with Cubans too. I always thought my mom was black. So I used to send her, a happy Martin Luther King Day cards, happy fucking Black History Month, all that shit. And I even, knew the words, to the Black National Anthem. It's called Lift Every Voice. So I learned all of the song to Lift Every Voice. And I actually preferred it every February because, it's a nice break from the monotony of the Pledge of Allegiance and then the National Anthem. However, there was a sense of almost pride because I can hear, this is a theme song for my people, at that time I'm 6. And so there was a pride to it. Now, again, I've told you guys a million times, you cannot be proud of something you did not achieve. So that's why I'm saying it was like a feeling of pride. It was just honor. So I naturally had a dog in this fight. I learned at 7 that I'm wrong, and my mom is not black, she's Italian, and some people just get really dark in Arizona. And right away, I remember it almost broke my heart. And another reason why I thought this was because my mom's friends were all black, and we lived in they lived in Humboldt Park, and then they moved over to what we call the jungle now. And it's called the jungle because it's very crack infested. It was always not very safe, but it was home. And so if you know of Howard, It's just called Howard or Rogers Park, whatever you want to call it, East Rogers Park. You know, growing up there, you know, all my friends were black. All my you know, the aunts and uncles that you grow up with and you're told these are your aunts and uncles, they were black. My cousins were a pair of twins and they were black. And all we did together was just, besides everything, you know, Monopoly and all that shit. But like, we were always trying to get the dance moves right to Thriller. And that was my shit back then. Michael Jackson was my god. And so, you know, that I think that's why I have a natural disdain for racism. And then when I got older, I found out, you know, none of this was true, but none of it changed a damn thing for me. So I knew I was Italian. I loved being Italian. I have plenty of Italian things over there. You can't really see it, but you know, all around me is Godfather, Goodfellas, Taxi Driver. I'm a huge Bobby fan, a big Scorsese fan, a big, you know, standard Italian. So I bring my girlfriend, who I'm going to marry at that time, I bring her to the mall, the Lincolnwood Mall, and we go over there. And it just happened to be, you know, it's a mall that I know very well, and I tend to know a lot of people. So we go over there, and who do I find but my cousins? So in a very happy way, I go and I introduce her to not just my cousins, but I asked them, hey, could you take her around and, you know, introduce her to people, you know? So she introduced her to my uncles and all that shit. Big, big black guys. One of them was a football player, almost went pro. And so they are just, you know, pulling her by the arm, you know, oh, come on, baby, you gotta meet this person. Oh, come here, baby, you gotta meet this person. You are so beautiful, you know. And that's family to me. That's fucking family. That's how family acts. Now, I got another aunt that I hadn't seen one time in like 5 years. And I go knock on her door. She opens the fucking door. And my Tia Judy literally looks right at me. I'm 5 years older. I'm much taller now. I swear to God, I tried to do this as a prank to act like I was a lost kid. She opens the door like I was there yesterday. And she literally goes, Mijo, what are you doing outside? Get inside. This was my family. So I grew up with no blood relatives. All my family came from the street and the people that I know. So this is why it really bugs me. So now we're going to go a little bit further into it. Let's go ahead and listen to Sam Cedar go ahead and destroy Gutless here, because they make a very good point on the fact that he says when you see these type of things, you know they're going to make excuses for them, but you're always seeing type of things like this. No, you're always seeing types of shit like this because that's the TV shit that you subscribe to. All right? Otherwise, let's say I'm a documentarian for animals. I would think there's a big problem with animals fucking all the time because that's all I see. So, all right, go ahead, Sam. Let's see what you got.
Wait a second. Wait, I'm trying to follow this. Generally, when you see a group of kids, it's black kids
who are misbehaving. Is that what you're saying? That's because of the media you watch, Greg.
Yeah.
Dude, I got news for you. Why don't you hang out in Boston a little bit every time, like the Sox or the Bruins or the Celtics win or the Pats?
Go to Vancouver when the Canucks lose.
Exactly.
Yep, yeah, look up a hockey fight. Who was the person who said that? Like, there was a right-wing pundit who said all the videos that I see online are of, you know, black kids beating each other up. I mean, I'm forgetting. We covered this months ago, but maybe someone can tell us.
I can't even quite make out what he's saying here. Did he forget to say something? Or that's why I wanted it to go back earlier, because I wanted to make sure that we're getting the context right. Because this guy's just saying, like, whenever you see a bunch of kids, it's black kids, and then you've got people in some way, like, I guess, making excuses for them. I guess presumably he's saying that liberals are making excuses for the kids who went down there to looking for the free PlayStation.
And then the next, what would that sound like to you when somebody says, oh, look at all these black kids? Generally, it's a liberal. Because the second step is they make excuses for the group. Oh, it's from somewhere else. Oh, it's because of parenting. Given the circumstances, this is the behavior one would expect from a group of black teens. Who is the racist in that? It's them. It's the liberals who constantly make excuses for large groups of kids creating problems, whether it's looting, whether it's this stuff. I don't even, I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. All I know is we have to start dealing with people not as groups, but as individuals.
Okay. All right. Now, there's a reason why he wants to say that, okay? Because he's going to get into the subject of January 6th, where there were really no black people. It was all white people. And at least in that little clip, no cops died. Okay, no one was trying to hang anybody. All right, so notice that he's doing this so he can deflect the conversation, because it's clearly obvious anybody can bring up white people and looting at any time, and all you have to say is January 6th. That's it.
Right. January 6th, that was a mob. Some people were good, some people were nuts. In this case,
pause it for a second.
You see what I'm talking about there? You knew he was going to go for January 6th, and that was exactly what he did. Wow, the deflection it takes to go to that kind of shit, Some people were good and some people were bad. No. The whole point why I brought up the RICO Act is because he's deflecting and wanting to use this as an example because, it's got black people, so, people agree with me. And so it's just his way of saying you can't bash everybody in the January 6th commit group. It was just a few bad apples. The rest were just on a sightseeing program where they stepped on cops and yelled, "Hang Mike Pence," and took a dump on the floor. Yeah, that's total sightseeing. I see that at Brookfield Zoo all the time. From the monkeys. You fucking moron. So that is Greg Gutless, everybody. One of the most disgusting human beings on earth. And I love that he just goes, "Who is the racist in that?" It's you, motherfucker. It's you. Okay? Seriously. And they want to give this guy his own show simply for the fact that they don't have Tucker anymore. All right? So when it comes down to black or white, all this dumbass shit, it reminds me of, how everybody used to hate Mel Gibson so much, and it's just weird how times change, because, you know what? Mel Gibson, at least A, is a great writer, but B, he actually does make some decent points every now and then, and you know what? Here, I'll prove it by showing you a pretty interesting clip. Now, of course, he still looks like crazy Mel Gibson because that's the way he likes to look. That's none of my business. All right, so let's just go ahead and hear Mel out because he actually does make a lot of sense right here.
I'm just going to get in politics briefly. Are you nervous? Is it possible to have a happy ending after such a divisive presidential campaign like the one we've had?
Well, the good news about this presidential campaign is that soon it will be over.
Of course.
And the bad news is that one of those people will be elected. With all this talk of building walls and stuff like that, I think it's worth remembering that if you look at the servicemen and the military in this country, a lot of them have names like Ramirez and Hernandez and Rodriguez. And just from my reading, and it's interesting that many of these men fight and die for their country, and women, and some of them don't even get their citizenship until after they're dead. So, I think it's talk of walls and so forth is nonsensical. But, hey, it's not the happiest political climate I've ever seen.
And what was so wrong with that? I mean, out of all people to make some goddamn sense, you wouldn't think it would be Mel, but it's fucking Mel. And you know what? This goes back to that whole Sound of Freedom thing. But again, notice that he didn't pick any side there. He said we don't have much to choose from. So you can't say that he was being pro-Trump at all, but he's also wasn't pro-Biden at all. And again, listen to any comedian, they'll tell you the same thing. You know, we always have a fucking, you know, a turd sandwich and a douche. And so it never feels good for voting for either of them. You know, when you stand there and you're looking at Trump and Biden and Harris, you're not happy to click either of them. You know, I don't want to put my key in either of those cars, in those ignitions, man. But that's the way that the system is, because that's how the two-party dictatorship works. Now, a lot of that shit happens, again, with, like, Arizona. Now, I was talking about Arizona earlier, and the reason why was because I was, you know, one of the reasons why was because I was talking about how my mother was a very dark-skinned person, and, you know, from Arizona. And Arizona is, like, very populated with Hispanic people. And the idea that they've become this horribly anti-Hispanic fucking state is ridiculous, because it's like, you know, you do know that whose property that was, right? Like, it's like being in Texas. Like, you do know what this was, right? This used to be Mexico. Don't expect everyone to speak like a goddamn moron, you know? And then we got beautiful Jasmine Crockett coming straight out of Texas. Never seen her sound like a damn moron. But, you know, I thought maybe they're just overheated, because that's the truth of it. We're seeing the highest record of heat, and for Arizona, the highest records of heat going up, and the highest of highs and the highest of lows. And it's really scary, the fact that they will do anything to not talk about climate change when it is so clearly rampant in these problems. So let's just take a look real quick at what's going on in Arizona.
Very real thing, and the average body temperature of a human necessary to trigger heat stroke is way lower than the temperatures that they're reaching. And you know, this is not a hypothetical thing. The heat has already killed 39 people since April just in Maricopa County. One particular has reached 110 degrees or hotter, demolishing the previous record. Most of those days were above 115 degrees, and most night the low stayed above 90 degrees, setting records on both fronts, both the high and the low. If you are lucky enough to live in a place where it never gets that hot, that is unacceptably hot. It should be clear that that is a temperature at which the human body cannot function after a certain point. People die, literally, their body just shuts down. Your heart stops working, your kidneys no longer get oxygen, your gut cells die, and your brain eventually shuts down as well. Heat stroke
is a very real thing to worry about, okay? And so that's why I thought maybe Arizona's just overheated and they can't think straight, because they make some really stupid fucking decisions. To finalize my whole point on today's episode is, you know, we talked about a lot of shit, but when we get to the finalization of our main point over there about woke being the new black, it just seems like the modern Republican will just use the word woke instead of black. And according to data collected by the Washington Post, you know, take it with a grain of salt. You had Greg Gutless literally saying, you know, oh, we got to judge him on the individual. Seems like you have been doing that because, you know, according to the data, police shot at least 1,055 people nationwide just last year. the most since the newspaper ever even began trafficking fatal shootings. And that was, in 2015. That is more than, 1,021 shootings in 2020 and 999 more than 2019. And black people account for 13% of the U.S. population. So they actually account for twice that much. So 27% of fatally shot, killed, fucking victims are black. This is not a goddamn anecdote. This is not anecdotal information. These are the statistics. And it is really goddamn pathetic. And so to basically sign us out, love you guys. Honestly, with all the shit going on, just do your best to try to stay happy, people. So to go on and sign me out, I'm going to say peace, love, hair grease, stay yourself, stay free, stay safe, and most of all, I'll see you on the other side. And stay cheesy, my friends.
There is a point. Is there a point to all this? Let's find a point. Is there a point to my act? I would say there is. I have to. The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride, and we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer.